The domestic techniques and secrets of 1950s housewives were more than just chores. They were a form of everyday engineering. For a woman like Helena, living in a pristine suburban home in 1955, maintaining order was a matter of honor and efficiency. She did not rely on disposable products, but on a practical wisdom that saved her both time and money. Many of these tricks, which seem destined for oblivion with the arrival of modern technology, possess a surprising effectiveness today. Helena knew that maintaining a home required constant vigilance and methods passed down from mother to daughter. The shine of her silver and the whiteness of her linens were the trophies of her daily dedication to her family. The secret to the durability of Helena's furniture lay in the use of simple pantry ingredients. To remove water stains from wooden surfaces, she used a mixture of common toothpaste and baking soda. Rubbing gently with a soft cotton cloth, she watched the stain disappear without damaging the piece's original varnish. This was a silent victory over the wear of daily life. Another essential trick involved cleaning glass and mirrors with sheets of old newspaper. Unlike fabric cloths that leave lint behind, newspaper absorbs dirt without leaving any streaks. The ink in the newspaper even lent an extra shine to the glass, something modern cleaners often fail to replicate with such perfection. It was an economical and brilliant solution for a bright home. Helena was also a master at removing refrigerator odors without using artificial perfumes. She would place a saucer with fresh coffee grounds or a piece of charcoal on the back of the shelves. These natural elements worked as silent filters, neutralizing any food smells before they could contaminate the milk or butter. Her kitchen always smelled as fresh as a spring morning. To keep her carpets and rugs vibrant, she would scatter damp tea leaves over the surface before using the vacuum cleaner. The leaves attracted fine dust and helped lift the fabric fibers, making deep cleaning much easier. It was a budget-friendly method that left a light, fresh scent throughout the living room without the use of expensive or harsh industrial chemicals. The preservation of leather goods, such as her husband's work briefcases, was done with beaten egg whites. Applied with a soft sponge, the egg white cleaned and restored flexibility to the leather, acting as a natural conditioner. Once dry, the leather shone like new, protected from the cracks caused by time and constant use. It was a professional result at a zero cost. Helena understood that lemon was the most powerful ally of an efficient kitchen. To clean the interior of kettles with mineral buildup, she would boil water with lemon slices for a few minutes. The natural acid dissolved the limescale crusts effortlessly, leaving the metal shiny and free of residues that could alter the delicate taste of her afternoon tea. These tricks from 1955 represented an era of self-sufficiency and domestic intelligence. Helena did not look for the fastest solution, but for the most lasting one. She knew that the true magic of the home lay in the invisible details, in what worked silently to create an environment of comfort and security for her loved ones. Her wisdom was her greatest tool. Today, rediscovering these methods is like finding a lost instruction manual. They remind us that simplicity often outweighs industrial complexity. By following Helena's steps, we realize that the past still has much to teach us about how to care for what is ours, with respect, economy, and an effectiveness that truly defies the passage of time and modern trends. In Helena's laundry room, the whiteness of her husband's shirts was a standard she refused to compromise. In 1955, without modern bleaches, she relied on the power of the sun and basic substances. To remove yellow sweat stains under the armpits, she created a paste of lemon juice and fine salt, letting the garment rest in the sun before the final washing cycle. The sun acted as a natural whitening agent, enhancing the lemon's reaction on the fabric fibers. Helena knew exactly how long each piece should be exposed so as not to damage the cotton. It was a delicate balance between the force of nature and manual care, something that modern drying machines often ignore in their quest for speed and mechanical convenience. To prevent dark colors from fading, she added a generous pinch of salt to the rinse water. The salt functioned as a color setter, preventing pigments from leaking during the friction of the wash. This simple trick allowed her Sunday dresses to remain vibrant for many years, saving the family budget destined for clothing. Her wardrobe always looked brand new and elegant. The lace curtains, the pride of the living room decor, were washed with a special technique to maintain their shape and firmness. Helena soaked them in water with diluted cornstarch after cleaning. Then, she stretched them on wooden frames to dry under tension. The result was a stiff, dust-resistant lace that looked as if it had just come from the boutique. To remove ink stains, she used warm milk. By soaking the affected area in a bowl of milk for a few hours, she saw the pigmentation being absorbed by the liquid. Afterward, a simple common wash was enough for the garment to be saved. It was a home solution that prevented the disposal of clothes that still had much utility and value for her growing children. The organization of bed linens also followed a practical and brilliant logic. Helena stored each set of sheets inside one of its own pillowcases. This prevented pieces from getting lost in the closet and made the weekly change much faster. Opening the linen closet and finding everything categorized was a silent satisfaction in her highly productive daily routine. She used dried lavender sachets between the folds of the fabrics to ward off moths and ensure a relaxing scent. Unlike strong-smelling mothballs, lavender brought the feeling of the countryside into the suburb. Helena believed that her family's sleep began with the care she dedicated to the preparation of every bed and every pillow. It was a labor of love. To iron clothes with perfection, she sprayed water with a few drops of rose water onto the still warm iron. The scented steam penetrated the fibers, making the task of removing wrinkles easier and leaving a subtle aroma. Ironing social shirts was a ritual of precision, where every crease had to be exactly where the tailoring intended for a sharp look. Wool socks, essential in harsh winters, were never dried hanging up so they wouldn't stretch. Helena laid them out over a dry towel on a flat surface, shaping them manually. This care prevented the elastic from losing tension, ensuring that the socks lasted several seasons without needing constant darning. Her husband's comfort was always a top priority for her. Mastery of the laundry was, for Helena, a demonstration of technical competence. She saw fabric as something alive that needed maintenance to serve well. Her tricks were not just about cleanliness, but about the preservation of family heritage, one thread at a time, ensuring that nothing was wasted or mistreated. Her laundry room was a temple of order and care. Helena's kitchen in 1955 was a laboratory of efficiency, where nothing was discarded without its utility being exhausted first. She knew that potato peels, for example, were excellent for cleaning burnt grease residues from the bottom of cast iron pans. By boiling the peels with a little water, the released starch loosened the toughest dirt without the need for scrubbing. To keep her cutting knives sharp between visits from the professional sharpener, she used the ceramic bottom of a cup or plate. Sliding the blade at a precise angle against the rough edge of the base, she achieved a decent edge for slicing the Sunday roast. It was an improv technique that demonstrated her practical knowledge of her most essential tools. Caring for silverware involved using the cooking water from potatoes. Helena dipped the silver cutlery into the warm water and left it there for 10 minutes. The starch removed light oxidation, restoring the natural shine without the need for abrasive polishes that could scratch the delicate metal. A dry flannel cloth finished the job with a brilliant glow. To prevent brown sugar from hardening into a solid block, she kept a piece of apple peel or a slice of bread inside the jar. The natural moisture of these items kept the sugar soft and easy to use in her pie recipes. It was a silent method that avoided frustration when preparing afternoon coffee for her neighbors. Her pantry was always in perfect condition. Cleaning the oven was one of the heaviest tasks, but Helena had a method that required no fumes or excessive effort. She applied a paste of salt and water to the greasy areas while the oven was still slightly warm. After drying, the grease turned into a crust that could be easily scraped off, leaving the internal walls clean. It was a triumph of domestic science. Wooden cutting boards were sanitized with coarse salt and half a lemon. Rubbing the lemon over the salt, Helena created an exfoliating action that removed food residues and eliminated any persistent bacteria. The citric freshness neutralized smells of garlic or onion, preparing the surface for the next use with total safety and hygiene for her family's meals. To make candles last twice as long for special dinners, she placed them in the freezer for a few hours before lighting. The cold wax melted much slower, preventing excessive dripping and ensuring that the lighting remained constant throughout the night. It was a detail of elegance that cost absolutely nothing but added a magical touch to her table. Helena also knew how to save a soup or stew that had become too salty. She added a raw, peeled potato to the pot and let it boil for a few minutes. The potato absorbed the excess salt like a sponge. Then, she simply removed the potato before serving. It was a rescue trick that protected the dinner from a common kitchen mistake and saved the meal. The shine of brass and copper faucets was maintained with a mixture of ketchup or tomato sauce. The acid in the tomato reacted with the oxidation, removing dark spots without effort. Helena applied the sauce, let it act for a few minutes, and rinsed. Seeing the metal shine again under the kitchen light was one of the small satisfactions of her maintenance routine. For Helena, the kitchen was the heart of the home, and an intelligent manager knew that domestic economy was made in small gestures. Her tricks were based on observation and accumulated experience. She believed that intelligence was the best tool to transform an ordinary house into a sanctuary of order, flavor, and welcome for everyone who entered. Helena's living room was a testament to her ability to preserve what was beautiful. In 1955, furniture was a lifelong investment, and she treated it with due respect. To polish the dark wood of her dining table, she mixed equal parts olive oil and white vinegar. This solution cleaned away dirt and nourished the wood fibers simultaneously for a deep glow. Unlike commercial waxes that created sticky layers, this homemade mixture left a satin shine that was dry to the touch. Helena applied it with a circular motion, following the natural grain of the wood. The room exhaled an aroma of deep cleanliness and artisanal care, creating the perfect setting for family gatherings on the weekends. To remove shoe scuff marks or light scratches from the wooden floor, she used a shelled walnut. By rubbing the nut directly over the scratch, the natural oils of the walnut filled the crevice and camouflaged the imperfection instantly. It was an almost magical trick that avoided the need for expensive renovations or complex repairs to her flawless floor. Upholstery made of velvet and heavy fabric was cleaned with a soft bristled brush dipped in a little alcohol. Helena always brushed in the same direction to keep the texture uniform and remove any dust particles that the vacuum could not reach. This method kept the colors vivid and the fabric looking new, ready to receive guests at any moment. To clean crystal vases with narrow necks, she placed handfuls of raw rice and vinegar inside. By shaking the vase vigorously, the rice grains acted as small, mechanical exfoliants, reaching areas where no brush could go. The vinegar removed hard water stains, leaving the crystal transparent and sparkling under the bright rays of the afternoon sun. The golden frames of family portraits were cleaned with a slice of raw onion. Helena passed the onion gently over the gold to remove the soot buildup from the fireplaces. The onion juice cleaned without reacting with the sensitive metal of the frame. Afterward, she polished it with a dry silk cloth, ensuring that family memories were always beautifully framed. To ward off ants and insects naturally, she scattered cloves in the corners of the windows and behind the furniture. The strong smell of the cloves was an invisible and effective barrier, avoiding the use of chemical sprays that were common at the time. Helena preferred solutions that did not interfere with the respiratory health of her small children. Blinds and shutters were cleaned using an old sock placed on her hand like a glove. Dipping her hand into a solution of water and ammonia, Helena could clean both sides of each slat at once. It was a technique that cut her work time in half, allowing her to dedicate herself to more creative tasks in her busy daily schedule. She was a master of time. To keep indoor plants with shiny leaves, she wiped them with a damp cloth and a drop of milk. This removed the dust and gave the leaves a healthy look, besides protecting them from some common pests. Her plants were the touch of green life in the decor, and she treated them with the same attention she gave to her wooden furniture or delicate laces. Helena believed that decor was the reflection of the home's soul. Her conservation tricks were, in fact, acts of preserving comfort and history. She knew that a well-cared-for home was a refuge from the chaos of the outside world. Every polished detail and every clean surface were bricks in the construction of a home that breathed peace and constant harmony. At the end of each day, Helena dedicated a few minutes to ensuring that tomorrow would begin with serenity. She followed the rule of never leaving the kitchen dirty before going to sleep. The shine of the porcelain sink was her sign of mission accomplished. To keep the drain always free of grease and odors, she poured a mixture of baking soda and hot vinegar every week. The effervescent reaction cleaned the pipes naturally, avoiding clogs that could cause disruptions to the family routine. This preventive habit was the hallmark of her management. Act before the problem appeared. Helena understood that organization was the key to freedom, allowing her to have time for her own hobbies and evening readings by the fire. To organize her recipes, she used a small wooden box with cards categorized by colors. Meat, desserts, and breads had their specific places. She frequently exchanged cards with neighbors, but always wrote her own Helena's adjustments on the back. This archive of flavors was the intangible heritage she intended to leave for her children and grandchildren. House keys were kept on a hook right behind the main door, each with a small paper tag. In 1955, losing a key was a serious setback, and Helena did not let forgetfulness dictate the pace of the morning. Her children were taught from an early age to put every object back in its proper place as soon as they finished using it. Order was a family law. To keep the family's shoes always tidy and shiny, she had a complete shoe-shining basket. On Sunday nights, polishing shoes was a ritual that involved using a small amount of shaving cream to clean the leather before the polish. This removed impurities and prepared the material to absorb the pigment more uniformly. The family always walked out with pride. Caring for the home's breath involved boiling spices in a small pot of water on the stove. Cinnamon, cloves, and orange peels created a welcoming perfume that spread through all the rooms. Helena avoided the first chemical air fresheners, preferring the richness of natural aromas that reminded her of childhood comfort and the pleasure of good cooking. She used a wall calendar in the kitchen to note not only appointments, but also heavy cleaning cycles, curtains in March, rugs in September. This macro planning allowed tasks to be distributed throughout the year, preventing her from becoming overwhelmed at any time. Order was her greatest ally against excessive fatigue and domestic chaos. To preserve candles and matches in humid areas, she stored them in glass jars with airtight lids. Keeping the material dry was essential for emergency situations or for the frequent candlelit dinners she organized. Helena was always prepared for any eventuality, demonstrating a foresight that brought calm to the entire domestic environment. Her last trick, and perhaps the most valuable, was the use of lavender oil on pillowcases to induce a restorative sleep. She believed that a rested mind was a housewife's most important tool. Helena woke up with the sun, ready to apply her wisdom in another day of creating beauty and order in her own small, private, and perfect universe. Helena's story and her tricks show us that the domestic efficiency of the 1950s was a blend of practical science and affection. Rediscovering these methods today is not just nostalgia, it is a choice for a more sustainable and conscious lifestyle. Helena's wisdom remains alive, proving that what is truly good and functional never goes out of style.